I guess things haven't changed much.
So you were a chick magnet.
Oh yes, you're magnified.
What's your name and how old are you?
John Terrence Power, 94 years old.
And when were you born?
December the 17th, 1920.
And what were your parents' names?
William James Power and Melinda Catherine Parks.
And what was your father's parents' names?
Michael Power and Johanna Stack.
And what were your mother's parents' names?
Alexander Parks and Johanna Maher.
And how many brothers and sisters did you have?
12.
And what were their names?
Michael, Mary, Alec, myself, Eileen, Joe, Sylvester, Dan, Beatrice, Teresa, and Irene.
What are your earliest memories as a child?
A team of horses killed by the train close to home there. I remember that
And where was home?
Douglas, Ontario,
And in the
Admaston Township.
so it wasn't in the town of Douglas.
Oh no, 3 mile.
You lived up. Where did you live?
Lived in Admaston Township
On a farm.
on a farm.
Okay. And these horses. Tell us about the horses again.
The horses were killed. Rowan's horses, neighbors' horses, were killed by the train CNR that ran right across from home between the two properties.
So you could see this right from home.
Yeah.
It was at a crossing, was it?
No, they were out. They broke through the fence or something.
And then they were up on the track.
Yeah.
Any other memories that you have as a child? How old would you have been at that time?
3.
You were 3.
Yeah.
You can remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other memories as a child?
Well, no. Wait, let's see now. No. That was something startling, you know.
Yeah. That's usually what people remember.
Yeah.
What was the most startling or what was shocking about that, which makes you remember?
The train hitting the horses, and the horses had been lying in the ditch dead.
Okay. So, do you have any other memories about your childhood on the farm? Tell us about your childhood on the farm.
Well, I was there till I was 20 years old.
And what can you tell us about growing up with your brothers and sisters?
Went to school at Admaston Separate School number 3 for about 9 years. I went to grade 10. Took my grade 10 in Admaston number 3 separate school. Walked 1.5 miles to school every day.
Did you have shoes
Oh no, bare feet most of the time.
in the summer?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 24th of May, wearing bare feet.
Why barefoot?
Because there was no boots.
But you had boots in the winter,
Oh yeah, you had to have boots in the winter.
so you would save the boots.
Yeah. Rubbers.
And tell us about games that you used to play as a child.
Hide and seek was one of the main chores. Play. What do you call it?
Game.
A game that we played during our stay at home.
And what would you play at school during recess?
Ball.
Baseball?
Yeah.
So you actually had a bat.
Oh yes. The teacher was generally the umpire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of your teachers' names?
Oh yes. You should have been brushing up on that. What the hell was her name now?
Your favorite teacher?
John Rowan.
John?
John, yeah.
Okay. He would have been from the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, Big Tom's brother, Long Willie.
Who were those people?
There's Rowans too, brothers of this Johnny fella.
So they were neighboring farmers.
Yeah, no, they were weren't the neighbors. The neighbors was William, Jimmy, and Fee and MJ, Cecil and Anastasia. The mother was Alice. No, the mother was. What was her name? Cecilia and Jim
Okay.
Rowan.
What chores did you have to do around the farm?
Pick potato bugs, milk cows, separate the milk, and hen's eggs, gathered eggs.
Okay, that was as a child, wasn't
Yeah.
When you say pick potato bugs, what do you mean?
Pick potato bugs, they were on the potatoes. They'd eat them alive. They'd all to be left at the stalks. Eat the leaves right off. You just went along with a stick and knocked them into a pail, you know?
And this was in the garden outside.
Yeah.
it? How old would you have been when you had that chore?
Oh, about 9, 8, 9, 10.
And did you enjoy those chores?
No.
What was your least favorite?
Reluctantly.
What was your least favorite?
Least favorite was picking potato bugs.
Well, what would you rather be doing?
Oh, milking cows or something like that, turning separator. Anything at all besides that, making picking potato bugs.
You didn't get paid so much per,
No.
per potato bug?
Oh
A
no!
quarter a potato bug or
Oh
something?
my God! Don't even mention it.
You didn't get an allowance?
No allowance.
Oh. All right.
The allowance maybe was a meal. You got every night in bed.
Uh-huh.
That was your allowance right there.
So there wasn't a lot of money.
No money at all.
And what else would you grow in the garden?
Oh, potatoes and carrots and all vegetables that was necessary on a farm, you know. And then they were harvested in the fall, about September, and put in a root cellar,
Where was the root cellar there?
basement.
Oh, in the basement.
Yeah.
Under the big house.
Yeah,
Okay.
the little house, the little kitchen, the kitchen part, where the cistern was.
And what about meat?
Meat, well, you butchered in the fall, November. Butchered three pork and a beef during the winter.
That would keep you over the winter.
Yeah,
Chickens.
chickens and lambs.
You probably butchered a chicken whenever you needed one.
Oh yeah. Or mutton. Mutton they used to call it then. Now they still call it mutton.
Mhm.
But that was a big thing.
Right. Anything else you remember about playing or working with your brothers and sisters?
Oh, we used to do the chores to do all the feeding in the wintertime, clean out the pens, the stables, like, and what else now?
What can you tell us about the horses and plowing the fields or?
Oh yeah, once you got to be about 12-year-old, you started to work a different program.
You're more advanced.
Yeah, advanced. Yeah,
Which
you
meant
were
what?
set up then.
You had you learned more advanced skills like
Yeah.
walking behind a plow.
Oh yeah, all that kind of thing. Walking by in the dust.
You enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, sure you did. You got the black leg.
What's that?
The black leg was dust up to about here, you know, and you're you know, the black leg.
Did you not have pants on?
Oh yeah, sure. It was up the pants leg though.
Oh, it went up the path.
Oh yeah.
That was just from the soil turning.
Yeah. You're walking behind this piece of machinery, you know.
Yeah. Well, it was just a single plow, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the plow wasn't too bad. But any other sort of that stirred up the earth, you know. It created a dust and dry land.
Right.
It always had to be dry in order to work it.
Uh-huh.
So, but plowing wasn't too bad. A single walking plow was good. You could.
Well, that's the only plow, wasn't it?
When they had sulkies, with a 2 for a sulky or a 1 for a sulky, you could sit on it and ride on 3 horses.
Wouldn't that be better than walking?
Oh yeah, but you didn't always have one
What do you mean? Why not?
because the price wise.
Oh, okay. And how long would it take you to plow an acre of land?
An acre would be about an acre would take a day, 24 hours, 12 hours.
You stop for lunch and coffee
Oh, yeah.
coffee
Yeah,
breaks?
yeah, coffee breaks my auntie.
Well, you'd have a hot shower at the end of the
Oh
day.
yeah,
wouldn't you?
sure. Where? In the creek?
Wherever you did, you go and jump in the creek?
Oh, sure, you could jump in the creek.
Watch that black lake.
Yeah. 2 black legs.
Two black lakes.
They'd be both black.
So, what are your fondest memories of growing up on the farm?
Working at the different chores around the barn and in the field. Haying and plowing and cultivating and tilling the earth, you'd call it. Gardening was the same way.
So you enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
What do you remember about your teenage years?
Well, tilling the land, and it was a good pastime.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you remember as a teenager? Boyfriends, girlfriends, dances, etc.
Dancing, every Friday night.
Yeah. But you must have had a girl that you had a crush on.
Oh no.
No? You never had time for that.
We didn't have time, no money. They cost money, you know.
You never saw it. You never saw
No,
any
you
girls?
never had any to see in the first place.
Oh. But you did go to dances.
Oh yeah, you had 10 cents a quarter.
And where were they held?
Osceola and Whalen's dance hall.
Where is that?
Right down halfway to Renfrew. Whalen's.
Yeah.
Osceola Hall was up by Osceola.
How would you get there?
By the neighbors. Neighbors might have had a car. Enrights or Rowan's. They had a car.
And who would be at the dances?
Everybody. All of the settlement. The whole settlement.
How many people?
Couple of hundred.
Really?
Yeah.
And what kind of music would they play?
Square dance music. Somebody calling steady all the time.
With a live band?
Yeah. Shaw's orchestra.
And what kind of instruments?
Violin and piano and guitar. So on. That's it.
So you'd meet girls at the dances, though.
Oh yeah. You'd try and remember their names, but you couldn't.
Why?
Too many of them.
I guess things haven't changed much.
So you were a chick magnet.
Oh yes, you're magnified.
Okay. So when did you first leave the farm?
1941.
And where did you go?
Scriber.
Why did you go to Scriber?
Went to Alec. My brother was working there in Scriber prior to me. And we went hired on the Canadian Pacific Railway as a fireman.
Okay, now that was during the war.
Yeah, that was during the war, yeah.
Okay. And train crews were
It's
important.
essential service.
Yeah.
What kind of duties would you have as a fireman?
As a fireman, steam engine. shoveling coal or making sure there was coal and water and steam.
So when you say fireman, you don't mean somebody that puts out fires
No. They create a fire.
for the engine to run.
Yeah, make steam.
And
There were steam engines.
explain the process of how you would do that.
Well, coal was administered to the firebox. The firebox was about 8 by 12, and the coal was administered from the tender underneath the deck in a screw. It was automatic onto a plate. It fell out onto a plate, and the steam jets distributed it around the firebox. See, and that's the way you did it.
So you weren't shoveling coal,
Not all the time, no.
but you did on occasion.
Oh yeah, when the stoker would break down, you did that,
Uh-huh.
and that didn't happen very often though. Damn seldom. It happened once with me that I know of. But the brakeman and the conductor and the engine man and everybody else jumped in, and helped.
Uh-huh.
Because as long as there was somebody watching the main line, sitting up on the engineer's seat with his eyes pointed ahead.
So you said you arrived in Scriber in 1941. What were your first impressions of Scriber?
Well,
When you first arrived, what did you think?
it was at night about dark. It was after dark.
But all the lights must have been glaring at you.
Oh, sure they would be. I was surrounded.
It'd be sort of like arriving in Las Vegas.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Well, tell us about it.
How did you arrive?
By number 7 on a passenger train. Right from Renfrew, took 12 hours. Took 24 hours to go to Scriber.
And how much would that have cost in the day?
That cost about $20-some to go up there.
But as an employee, you traveled for nothing.
Oh yeah.
So again, tell us your first impressions. What did you think of Scriber the next morning when you saw it in the daylight?
Well, I had a fair impression of the place on account of having friends there prior to that, at that time. Like Alec was there, and
Your brothers and other
Yeah.
relatives.
PJ and Annie and Mary went to school there. Mike was there, and Mike, my brother,
Right.
he was there working. Wasn't working on the railroad though. He was the only brother that didn't work on the railroad out of 6.
Okay, so what was Scriber like?
It was a place of about 3,000 people, pretty well built in those days for 41, and just amazing. I was amazed because it was a town, twice as big as what I was accustomed to.
It was a busy place.
Yeah. Trains constantly going in and out.
And so you had a job there before you left home, or did you have to
I
apply? when you
had to go and pass a doctor's test and an eye test and a rules test before I was employed. I made trial trips. I made about 10 trial trips. That was learning the trade.
Before you even
Oh yeah.
earned a paycheck?
Oh yes. It was December the 7th, 1941. I made my first paycheck for the yard engine.
And so you partied all night long, didn't you?
Oh yeah, partied there, yeah, sure.
So where did you stay when you first went? to
Alec had a room at Boone's, and there was two beds in the room, and it was $15 a month.
Room and board.
Yeah, no, just room.
Where did you eat?
St. Jean's Restaurant, the Travelers Inn.
Right across from the station.
Yeah. The station was just down the street from where we roomed.
All right. So you knew Mom at the time, did you?
Oh yes. I just knew of her though. I didn't know her.
Mm-hmm. You just knew that there was this hot chick there. And
Yeah. Somewhere she was available.
How did you know about her?
Oh, she had been a scriber prior to when I went there.
Oh,
She was there prior one summer.
Why?
Oh,
was-
visiting Mike. Mike was there, and Danny and Uncle Petty were there.
Okay.
And that's why she went up there. But I wasn't there.
Okay. You missed her.
Yeah, completely.
Okay. Well, you're lucky no one else grabbed her.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
All right. So, when did you first meet her?
45. Somewhere in 45, say July.
And how did you meet?
Met her in the street in Renfrew with Rosemary McGraw, her first cousin.
So you had been working in Scriber full time,
Oh, prior from 41 to 45.
and then you met Mom,
Yeah,
and then you continued to correspond.
yeah, long range. Because she was in Scriber, I was in Scriber, and she was in Ottawa.
Okay. And what, you would take a holiday once a year and go down and see her?
Yeah,
Once a year.
once a year, twice a year, maybe twice a year.
And what kind of holidays would you get?
Oh, you didn't get any pay. It was just time off. Without pay.
And the railroad would allow that?
Oh, yes.
Okay. They didn't frown on it?
No, they might have frowned a bit, but not very much.
Yeah.
You got to know the clerks, quite well.
All right, so you were married in 1948.
August the 12th, 1948. In Ottawa at Blessed Sacrament Church.
Okay. All right. And you honeymooned where?
Cornwall, all the way over to Niagara Falls, Detroit, and back home again.
You drove.
Yeah.
Right? And after the honeymoon, you went to Scriber.
In September, we went by Highway 11 up to Timmins and proceeded to Scriber by Nippigan.
There was a road from Nippigan
Oh
right
yeah,
to Scriber at the time?
oh yeah. It opened in 37.
All right.
The bridge in Nippigan was opened in 37. Of course, we didn't cross the bridge
No.
at that time. We didn't have to. We did though. We did that day. We went into the town of Nippigan and back out again.
Could you drive to Thunder Bay at the time?
Oh, sure. The bridge at Nippigan was in there then. It was in there from 37.
All right. Okay, so
Hold on, break it up a little bit.
so did you enjoy working on the railroad?
Yes, it did.
And
A different source of employment completely. Once you acquainted yourself with the locomotives, there was nothing to it.
so how long were you a fireman before you became an engineer?
5 years.
And were you an engineer on the steam engines?
Yes. From 55 till 61.
And then what happened?
Diesels came to scratch. The CBR purchased diesel power in 61 and 51. 51.
So from
41 to 51, I was on steam engines.
all right. And what was the biggest change at that point?
Well,
What
there was no getting acquainted with the diesels, handling the train. That was the big change. Bigger trains and good power. They had a troubleshooter on them all the time.
the mechanic?
Yeah.
So what did you miss? Did you miss anything about the steam engines?
Oh, you missed the challenge of steam and trying to get uphill and all that kind of slipping, sliding around, you know.
So it was much easier with a diesel.
Oh yes, it was easier to a point because you still had to you still had to clear trains and stop and start and all that kind of thing. Same thing as before.
But you got to put your feet up more.
Well, maybe you did, yeah.
So, what are your fondest memories of the railroad?
Well, it was getting acquainted with the steam engines. That was the biggest.
You really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah,
What about the guys you worked with?
they were good fellows. All good fellows. Very up to date engine men, and the firemen were likewise.
There were some characters, though.
Oh yeah, they were all characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of stories.
Yeah.
Can you think of any funny story?
Oh, not really and truly.
Any tragic accidents?
Only lots of derailments and boxcars in the bush, merchandise out of the boxcars would be broken open, and it'd be spilled all over the place.
So any tragic deaths or anything?
Just when number 2 left the track, they had to wash out east of Terrence Bay that time, 1957.
Yeah, I thought you lost there was a young fella that died in a head-on collision or something.
Yeah, that was in 1940. That was December the 2nd, 1948. That was 48.
And he was from the Ottawa Valley
Yeah,
somewhere.
McMullen.
You knew him.
John McMullen. Yeah, I knew him quite well.
He was your age?
Oh, he was younger than I was. By a couple of years, maybe. Had been in the services and came back and came prescriber to a source of employment that wasn't available everywhere those days, you know. And he was a fireman on the pusher. It was a hand-fired bomber, and a pusher system between Scriber and Salem.
What is the pusher system?
Pusher system was assisted freight trains up the hill.
Okay. And what happened?
It was a man failure. The engine went down light, left Scriber and went down and hooked onto but never cleared the main line, never cleared the signal. That's what happened. And they took off and met the other freight train. There was a freight train Scriber ready to leave when this pusher left to go down. See? And the pusher went down. He was supposed to stay at Salem. Under normal circumstances, he'd be at Salem for the westbound freight train. Instead of that, he met him at mileage 6.
He decided to come back to
Yeah,
Scriber
yeah,
in a head-on collision.
yeah.
So that was human error.
Oh yeah,
And
human error.
Was he the only one that died on that train?
Yeah.
Were you always an engineer?
No, I was a fireman. After the diesels come in, they reduced, increased the size of the trains and reduced the crews.
And what did that do for
That
you?
set me back firing.
All right.
Prior to that, I was an engineman in the pool in the East Freight, Hearn Bay subdivision. And prior to that, I was on freight trains running an engine, and then I was automatically reversed to demoted to a fireman on diesel.
And when did you start running the diesels? When did you become an engineer on the diesels?
About 19. I run the air engine in White River most of the time for about 5 years. From 74 from 61 till 70.
So roughly 10 years.
Yeah,
You worked in the White River Yard.
yeah,
And you would be away from home for what?
all the time, all the time.
For a week at a time?
Oh yeah, we get a time for sure, 'cause you doubled up. Whenever you get home, it's you doubled up.
What does that mean, doubled up?
It work 16 hours and let the other guy go home. See, then he'd come back down and you'd go.
And how long would you be home?
4 days maybe 3. It all depends. Depends on how long you owe the other guy at the time.
So what happened when you left the White River Yard? What did you do?
Went to West Freight, East Freight, for city engineer on diesel.
So that was better.
Oh yeah, much better. You were at home every 12 hours.
And then how else, where did you progress from there?
We went in 1974. I was road foreman of engines until January 1979.
And what did a road foreman do?
He assisted and trained engineman.
Did you enjoy that?
I did, because I was all the way from Sudbury to Current River, 500 mile.
What did you enjoy most about it?
Was other crews, working with crews, working with about 500 men.
And you were teaching up and coming new
Engineman,
enginemen.
yeah, up and coming brakemen that automatically signed up for to become enginemen. They had previously been braking. Some of them were quite well acquainted.
Didn't you spend some time out west?
I did just acquaint myself with robots.
What's a robot?
A robot is an engine back in the train run by a radio.
What was its purpose?
It's to boost the power in the train. They have them on the trains all the time now.
So you were at the leading edge of that
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah. That was 74. They only tried the experiment was once 2-hour division to Ottawa. To Montreal rather. Thunder Bay to Montreal.
And I'm told that the Scriber Division was the most challenging in Canada.
It would be on account of the hills and curvatures and rock cuts and lakes.
What else can you tell us about that division?
Well, that's about all. It cost more per mile to put the track in there in the first place in 1881. 1885, the railroad opened through to Vancouver from Montreal.
Right? And how long did you work on the railroad? When did you retire?
I retired in 83.
Okay. And how old were you at that time?
I was 62.
Were you happy to retire?
Oh yes,
You'd done enough.
yeah. There was enough of guys below me that were anxious to take my place.
Okay. And what did you do when you retired?
Moved to state inscriber for 3 years and then moved to Peterborough
And
So-
why did you move to Peterborough?
because just for advancement, that's all.
Change the scenery.
Change the scenery and living conditions.
What was better about Peterborough?
More down around where you came from. It was closer to home and you were there. That was one of the reasons why we moved to Peterborough.
So you missed the valley,
Yeah.
the Ottawa Valley.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Okay. And so what are your fondest memories of Peterborough?
Well, friends and acquaintances.
New friends and acquaintances.
Yeah.
What about your grandchildren?
There was Lisa and Mark that we would have never known if we hadn't moved to Peterborough.
So they grew up around you.
Yeah, and while we were in Scriber, the rest of the in-laws and outlaws we got acquainted with them automatically.
Yeah, well, you had grandchildren there
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
And you
and
saw- you were
family.
there. You were there
And
while they
family.
grew up.
Yeah.
Any other memories of Peterborough or the Ottawa Valley that you want to share with us?
Irish club. We joined the Irish club, my wife and I, and Knights of Columbus, and I just transferred to the Knights of Columbus from Scriber to Peterborough, and I joined the Knights of Columbus in 1952 in Scriber, and remained. I'm still a Knight of Columbus right now.
And you made frequent trips to the Ottawa Valley
Yeah,
when you were
every year.
Well, you were there more than once a year.
Oh, not much. Just while I was romancing.
No, I mean after you moved to Peterborough.
Oh no! Oh yes! Oh yeah! The Ottawa Valley was the main object then.
Yeah, but you were there.
Weddings and funerals and etc.
You visited frequently from
Yes,
Peterborough.
yes. Went to the mall.
So, what advice would you give to your children? You know,
Well, work steady and be honest with the people around you. Try and acquaint yourself real well with all the different methods of work.
what would you like your children to remember about you?
I'm not sure. Dishonesty, I guess.
Just honesty?
Just honesty.
Okay. Any other memorable experiences that you'd like to share with us? Anything you remember from your childhood, from the farm, from the railroad?
Well, it was a great experience to be a farmer on the start, and then go to the railroad for a few dollars. After 1974, the wages went up to a respectable wage, and before that it was nip and tuck all the time, payday to payday.
Yeah. So there wasn't a lot of money in the beginning.
No,
All right. Well. And
of course it took less money to exist those days than it does today.
of course.
A lot less.
So are you happy with your life?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because the accomplishments that we made during my married years, which is 66 years right now, and acquaintances throughout the country, and the jobs.
And your health?
Health is good too.
You're 94 and you're still
Yeah.
in good health.
Yeah, I'm still above ground and out of jail.
All right. Well, I think that concludes it.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No. It was a great experience all around, farming and railroading and living besides, existing.
Yeah. So you're satisfied with your life.
Oh yes,
Made lots of friends.
yeah. Friends and enemies, mostly friends.
Yeah. Not too many enemies.
No, damn few enemies.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, Mark,
We're done.
you got my pictures?
I do.